Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Valerie, just Valerie today. Believe it or not, I think today is the last day of February, isn't it? And so that actually means that I've been doing my 5 by 4 challenge for a month now, which is to hop on live every weekday. Today is Wednesday behind the scenes day, and you've actually caught me on a lovely Wednesday because today is my scheduled day off. That's been sitting in my diary for a while, and when it was coming close to Wednesday, I thought, I'm going to have my scheduled day off. So my behind the scenes segment today is to take you into my world of what I do when I have a scheduled day off. But before that, where am I? I wish I could, hang on, maybe I will. Let me see. Where am I? Let's see if I can show you this. Haha! There's a clue. I'd show you the lovely harbour with the Sydney Opera, but there is a massive, maybe I'll show you. There's a massive cruise ship that is absolutely blocking out the Opera House. So yes, I am at Circular Quay today for my scheduled day off. And why am I here? How did I choose to come here? I was actually having a conversation yesterday with someone who was inviting me to come and speak at a large conference. I already did that large conference last year, and somewhere in the middle of our conversation, I think I said to him, thanks for the invite, but quite frankly, I am petrified to come and do it again. And somewhere in between explaining why I was petrified and trying to problem solve how I could be less petrified about coming to speak, the person I was conversing with, actually, I could hear it on the telephone, seemed to pause and drift away. Of course, I engaged in some positive self-talk that I wasn't being boring, or that me telling this person that I was petrified hadn't now switched them off to the conversation. That when the person came back to the conversation, explained to me that they were actually just had a moment of being captivated where they were watching some dolphins, and that scene just popped into my head, and I thought, I've got to get to some water tomorrow. I've got to be close to some water. I have a couple of happy places that I go to on a scheduled day off, but inadvertently, if it's a whole day like today, a whole scheduled day off as opposed to a morning off, I'll come to the city. There's a few reasons for that, and my favorite self-care shop is here. It's the only one in Australia, and I can't wait to actually go and replenish some stock. It's also got pancakes on the rocks. I do confess that I do love to have some of that as well. And also, I'm a migrant. I was not born in Australia, and so when we arrived in Sydney and I was a child, I was mesmerised by the beauty of Sydney, the bridge, the iconic Opera House. And so I think I'll just come back here because it returns me to a place where there's a bit of a wonderment, a bit of an awe, I think, about this country and the city that I live in. So what is my scheduled day off? Well, I haven't done one in a few months, and I think I was really starting to feel the wear and tear of it. Once a month, I actually try to have a day of yes. A day of yes. Hello, Daniel. Thanks for joining me. I'm in Circular Quay having my day off today. So I try to have a day of yes. A day of yes is, for me, a day where I actually wander around a particular place, and whatever senses catch my curiosity, it could be a smell or a sight, something to touch, I basically say yes to it. Now, this is within, of course, sensible limits. There's nothing illegal, immoral, or unethical that goes on a day of yes. That it is a day where I'm led by my curiosity. You know, I throw off the robes of responsibility and sensibility for a day and just engage in a playful mindset and just be curious and just experience my environment that way. I will usually, at the end of the day, go home and take a sample of my day off, something that I discovered, and actually bring home with the family to share with them. So that's my day off today. I've got a couple of ideas of where I'm going to be going. I'm actually going to be meeting someone, and so I suspect that as we go off together on our adventure today, I'm going to be discovering some new things. I would just like to share one thing with you. On my day on my trip into the city, I was listening to a podcast. I didn't quite get to do my devotion by sitting down quietly today. We actually had to run to catch the train, but I was able to catch a podcast, and the podcast was on living generosity in the midst of scarcity. Now, this appealed to me because quite a lot of time when you're listening to motivational speakers, there's usually this idea of an abundance mindset. And I thought, I might just listen in to what the speaker has to say about generosity in the midst of scarcity. And the speaker was urging us to basically live generously, to give to the point that it's actually going to hurt us, to give to the point where you're actually not just giving just from your fullness, like your leftovers, but to give from your first fruits, from a position of abundance to give, even when you're feeling like your circumstances are rather scarce. And I really pondered about this. Generosity is one of the principal values that is embodied in our private practice. I'm very privileged and honored and humbled to be surrounded by psychologists who give of their personal life. Quite often you will find that they are in some kind of community project or some kind of faith-based project that they're giving of their time to. And, it really struck me that quite often for me, generosity is something that, oddly enough, I can feel that I'm going to get judged on my behaviors. Like even on a day like today, when other people are toiling and working and having a hard time, that I'm actually indulging in what I think is luxury. But, I really started to ponder about this. Okay, generosity is an attitude, isn't it? And I started to think about where that attitude comes from. And I think it does come from a bedrock of beliefs and values that filters up then to some behaviors that you engage in. And I think I'd like to say that generosity isn't just about financial resources. I think it's about giving of our whole self, our vision, our time, our ambition, our mindset, our heart, the work of our hands. If we put a little bit of that or a lot of that focus into how we can serve a greater purpose and serve with a generous spirit, then I think we can be reassured that when those behaviors that get judged about, are you giving enough, or, how come you're taking this time off while everybody else is working, they don't matter so much. They fade into the background, don't they? Because the whole of your life is actually guided by some firm principles that come from some firm beliefs, and one of those beliefs and those values can be generosity, living generously, even being generous with our trust, which is something that I think I work on quite a bit. So that was just a conscious stream of thought on my day off. Hello, Daniel. Your daughter and your granddaughter are in Jerusalem. Oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. I would love to see some photos there and what that's like over there. Yes, it is a bright and sunny day today in Sydney. I'm really, really grateful for the weather today, it being my day off. And so I hope you have a great day too, Daniel, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day today. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.